Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a new episode. So today I'm coming to you from Bali, so enjoy that background and maybe the occasional traffic. Hopefully it's not too bad. So today is the long-awaited video where I finally speak about my experience of what it was like to obtain a second citizenship. So today's video will be going over economic citizenship specifically for St. Kitts and Nevis because that was my personal experience. Now before I get into today's video, I have to remind you maybe that I am not a legal professional or a lawyer. This is not legal advice or guidance. This video is just a basic guide, what to expect if you want to go through a process like this. Kind of the information you should expect to be providing, the amount of money you should expect to be spending, and the amount of time you should expect to be taken for this entire process from start to finish. So first and foremost, this is going to cost you money if you are looking at economic citizenships, because that means that that particular country offers you the opportunity to purchase citizenship, either through partaking in a donation type program, or you can qualify to gain citizenship through purchasing property. Now, depending on which country you end up choosing and which program you end up partaking in, the amount of money required will differ a lot, so please keep that in mind. So right off the bat, I want to say that being able to afford something like this is a privilege, not only monetarily, but also because you can afford to choose which country you want to be a citizen. That is a decision that should not be taken lightly. So here are some things that you should seriously consider before deciding which country you would like to apply for. First of all, consider the government. Are you applying for a country that has a big, controlling, or limiting type government? Or are you applying for a country that has a relatively small, easygoing, and arguably more free type government? Also, of course, you're going to need to consider how much will you need to spend to qualify for a particular country's economic citizenship program. Do you have to purchase property to qualify, or can you take part in a donation type program? If you are interested in purchasing property, or if you're required to purchase property, how much is the limit? Is this property going to be like an investment type situation for you, or are you interested in actually living there yourself full time? If you are interested in purchasing property, please keep in mind that the majority of the countries that offer economic citizenships are in the Caribbean, and you know what often occurs in the Caribbean? Hurricanes. So if you are looking to live there, please keep in mind, the insurance and property values and all of that fun stuff. So since I myself have gone through that process, I have contemplated those previously mentioned concerns, and I came to the decision to take part in the economic citizenship program for St. Kitts and Nevis, specifically their donation program. I did not go the property route because, as you may have noticed, I do quite a bit of traveling. So for me, making that large amount of investment into property in one specific location didn't really make sense to me, not to mention it was quite a bit more expensive. So for me, the donation route worked out just fine. So the first thing that I did to get this process going was I hired a lawyer. Thankfully, I had a friend who was familiar with this process, and they recommended a great lawyer. I went with actually the J.H. Marlin law firm, which I do recommend. They're very knowledgeable. They're great with communication. You can email them any day or night, and they're very quick to get back to you. They also she also lives on the island, so she was able to physically submit my application for me, in addition to actually going over to the CIU office and asking any questions that needed to be addressed. So that's another thing about St. Kitts. This St. Kitts Economic Citizenship Program, you don't have to be physically present on the island to qualify or to get approval, which is like super convenient and really awesome, actually. Okay, so let's go over the type of information you'll need to submit for your application. Again, this is for the application for the donation program for St. Kitts and Nevis, because that was my personal experience and that is what I'm most knowledgeable about. So just so you know, for the remainder of this video, that is what I'll be referencing. So right off the bat, you should know that if you have any type of a criminal record, they are going to want to know all about that situation. Not that I have one, but for those of you who might, just know that if you have a criminal record, that really might be a huge hiccup for you, and you might find it hard to hire a lawyer willing to work with you. So keep that in mind. So you will also need to provide a history of your employment status for the past 10 years, in addition to where you have lived for the past 10 years. Also information on your immediate family members, like their names, their ages, where they were born. Also, you need to provide bank statements for the past year, and each month of those statements will need to be stamped and signed by the bank. You'll need a bank reference letter. You'll need to take a physical exam. The exam will need to have taken place within 3 or 6 months from the time of your submission of the application. So it'll need to be a recent physical exam. They give you a specific form to fill out that the physician will fill out, so keep that in mind. Also, you'll need to submit your college transcripts. If you went to college, even if you didn't graduate, they still need those transcripts. You will need a recommendation letter by a professional, like a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, a notary, a police officer, someone who has known you for a few years and can attest to your character. You'll need to submit multiple passport photos. I believe I had to submit 8 of them. You'll need to supply a notarized copy of your birth certificate, your driver's license, your social security card, your current passport. You'll need to submit your marriage license if you are married. If you changed your name at any point in your life, you'll need to submit proof of that change, and you will need to declare your annual income. So many of these documents will need to be notarized, so keep that in mind. That is some extra money that you'll need to spend on that. It's not a lot, but something to be aware of. Okay, so let's get into what I'm sure everyone just really wants to know, and that is how much did it cost and how long did it take? So for my particular situation, going with the donation route for the St. Kitts and Nevis Economic Citizenship Program, the cost of the donation required was $150,000 US. Now that cost does not include the lawyer fees, the due diligence fees, and the kind of miscellaneous fees associated with acquiring all the documents, getting them notarized, and mailing them. Now, originally, I think that donation requirement was $250,000 US, but they had, I think, put it on sale, and that's actually what caught my attention. It became a lot more affordable for me, so I chose, that was actually a contributing factor to my decision. And speaking of time, it was also a contributing factor, I think, for many people, because it inspired a lot of applicants for that particular program. So the amount of time it took for me to complete this process was delayed because they were flooded with people trying to apply for this. So for those of you who have done any research at all for this particular program, you might have been quoted something like 3 to 4 months, 3 to 6 months. That sounds freaking amazing, right? Like a season. From spring to summer, you can have a new citizenship. But for me, that was delayed because a couple different reasons. The amount of people applying, and also, this is why it's very important that you hire a lawyer, is because you need to be sure that you fill out the application to the T, exactly how they like it, because they are very particular. In fact, I had one minor discrepancy on my application, and it delayed the entire process. I was overseas at the time, so having to mail it from Europe to St. Kitts wasn't exactly easy or cheap, but so that was definitely a delay. So keep in mind, another reminder, get on that lawyer and be sure to, ask them any questions, that they go over your application step by step. They make sure everything looks absolutely correct, and you'll be better off for that. So again, I'm going to recommend J.H. Marlin because she's very familiar with this whole process, and she's, again, very good with communication. So start to finish, for me, there's 2 different aspects to this, right? There's the application of the actual citizenship, and then there's an application for the passport. So for my application for the actual certificate of citizenship, that took about 8 months. a lot longer than 3 months. That was 8 months just for that. And then once I was approved for the citizenship, that was when I could apply for a St. Kitts and Nevis passport. And that additional application took about 4 months to get approved. So my total experience through this entire process took about a year. So please keep that in mind. Also, because this process took so long and I had actually completed it quite a bit ago, the process for this application, the information required, very well may have changed. So do your research, contact a lawyer, ask all your questions, make sure you are completely up to date on what is required and that you are still interested in complying with that application. But you know what? After all that time, all that stress of getting all the information, sending that huge amount, seeing that money leave my account, sending it over, having to wait, it was absolutely worth it because now I have the ability to live abroad more easily, pursue my passions much more freely, and I am very happy to have gone through that process. It was very much worth it. So I know I keep referencing doing your research. So a great resource to use for learning about all different types of economic citizenships for all different types of countries, you should check out Nomad Capitalist on YouTube. He's very knowledgeable. He puts out content a lot. There's a ton of information that you can use from him. He also has a website and a service where you can actually hire him to help you through the process of many different countries. For example, the lawyer that I hired was very specific for St. Kitts and Nevis, but I think Nomad Capitalist has a huge team. He deals with a lot of different countries and different situations, especially regarding business, how you organize your business abroad and things like that. You can apply. He is very selective. I applied, and there's no guarantee that you get in because he definitely denied me, and it broke my heart a little bit. But regardless, I'm not going to hate on his website or his YouTube channel because, again, it helped me out a lot to make my own decision. All right, so I'm going to invite you to stay tuned for more videos coming out soon. I am going to give you guys an update about this channel. It's nothing bad. It's all great. You're going to love it, actually. So exciting things happening to Crypto Tips, and give you a little bit more information about that in the future video. So stay tuned for that. That's it for today's video, though. I enjoyed talking to you guys. I hope you found this to be very informative. If you have any questions, if there's anything that I have failed to cover in this video, please feel free to leave a question in the comments, and I'll be ready and waiting to supply you with any information that I can. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and hit subscribe and that bell icon so you can get more videos like this, and I'll see you around.